Hello, Potato. If you are by any chance watching this video the day it comes out, it is May the 5th, 2024. And of course that means today is Cinco de Mayo. But yesterday was May the 4th be with you. And tomorrow is the Revenge of the 6th. And I can think of no better day to look at what we're looking at today. Obviously it's LEGO, and if you watched yesterday's video, you already know what today is going to be, or indeed, if you read the name of the video, it's there, it's in the thumbnail. It's not a mystery. We're going to put together the newly released, came out back on Wednesday as part of LEGO's Star Wars Day releases, kit 75383 Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. But as I like to do when I'm building a new version of a set that I already have, we're first going to check out this. Coming in for a landing, it is LEGO Kit 7151, the Sith Infiltrator. Now this came out originally back in 1999. This year we are celebrating 25 years of LEGO Star Wars. This is one of those 25 years of LEGO Star Wars sets. This is one of the first sets that came out. Not one of the first ones. I think this was like the second wave. I think the first set was like all like original trilogy. But this is part of that first year. These are one of the earliest sets that came out. And I mentioned in yesterday's video that I had gotten in my head for some reason that this came with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn. And looking back at it, I went and looked in the Builder app because I wanted to make sure I had the year right and the set number right. And it didn't come with them. I don't know why. I think I do know why I thought it did. Because other versions of the Sith Infiltrator have come with other minifigures, much like this new one does. And I think for some reason I got confused in my head that one of those other versions of the Infiltrator and this version were the same. But no, they're very clearly not. This set actually is complete. I have everything, as far as I know, I have everything that this originally came with. We have our ship, and then hidden back in here we have the cockpit. Now I've gone through this before, back in like 2020. We did a video where I went through things in my office closet, and a bunch of my old Star Wars Lego were in there. A bunch of them are now just on display on the shelves normally. But here we have our original 1999 Darth Maul minifigure on his little hover bike. His cape has gone completely stiff in the last quarter of a century inside. He's only been out, I think, probably, other than when he first got put away, he's only been out of there that one time back in like 2020. But they have kind of a neat mechanism for closing his cockpit door here, and that is that this just kind of slides down to hold it in place. Now I'm gentle with that because I've had issues with these pieces crumbling. This one feels like it kind of wants to. But yeah, the inside of it was not anything much to speak of. Let's get a little light on that. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing in there at all. I'm assuming the new one will be a little more detailed than that. It's just got some flat plates to slide him in on and then seal him inside. But now there was a nice thing though in this, because it came with the little Sith probe droids, which, did we ever see those again? Did we ever see them in anything else? Because they had a cool design. I remember I have like a little keychain digital watch that is actually, it folds up to be one of those little Sith probe droids. But they very nicely stored right here in the main hull of the ship, along with Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber. So we can get the other half out. And I feel like this is, we see this a lot more now, but I feel this is not as common back then. Like, it's stuck on under the lip. There we go. Yeah, Darth Maul's little double-bladed lightsaber. Of course, we've seen a lot of these lightsaber handles in the intervening quarter of a century. And then here were the probe droids. I don't know which way goes up on these. I don't know if it was this way, if it was this way. But as you can see, they are in the new set as well, but they look a lot better in the new set than they did. Here we go. Without it glaring off the box. They look a lot better in the new set than they did in the old one. But that's just, you know, they've had some significant advances in Lego creation in the last 25 years. But I have actually managed to keep the set complete and together for 25 years. Now this set was a mere 243 pieces. Just over a third of the new version, which is 640 pieces for ages 9 and up. So it just came out back on this past Wednesday. And I thought, seeing as tomorrow is the Revenge of the 6th, it'd be a good day, put this together, and just, you know, compare the two side by side. Take that, you know, I like to occasionally have done it with the Boba Fett's ship a couple times now over the last few years. Do a comparison to see where we've progressed in Lego in 25 years. So first of all, a lot more pieces in here. We have clearly a much more modern looking Darth Maul. We have, I think this is probably the only Qui-Gon I have that is flesh colored. I don't feel like they've given a lot of Episode 1 love to Lego in the last couple decades. I think it's been, of course, you know, the movies as they come out, but largely I think we focused on original trilogy and then things like Clone Wars and that era. I don't think we've really had a lot of actual prequel sets since the first ones came in. Obviously, because there have been multiple versions of this, I'm not totally correct there. Just maybe not in recent years, or maybe I just wasn't interested in them. I don't know. I didn't think about. You know, for my generation that grew up initially on the original trilogy, the prequels were always a touchy matter, at least up until the sequels came out. It does seem that once 7, 8, and 9 came out, particularly 8 and 9, because I feel like when 7 came out, it was pretty universally adored, at least to the things that I listened to and watched and read. They loved it, and it wasn't until 8 came out that suddenly everybody hated 7 as well. But it does seem like a lot of the people who hated the prequels, well, and have either died off, because, I mean, let's face it, they were older people. You know, they, you know, may have been adults when the originals came out, as opposed to my generation, which were kids when it came out. Or, I guess, just it became more popular to hate the newer thing, and so the less old thing became okay. I don't know, but you go back and watch like some nerd culture stuff from the early 2000s, and you're going to see that a lot of geeks and nerds did not like the prequels in the way it seems to have been accepted now. And I think it's just, you know, 25 years of being used to it, getting exposed to it, has made a big difference. I think there being newer stuff to hate has made a big difference. And I think a lot of the older people just kind of dying off has made a big difference, because now you're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of millennials who grew up on the prequels, and for them, they were always as much canon as the original trilogy was for my generation. But that's enough. We've been going for almost 10 minutes now, and I haven't even opened the box. So let's open the box. But I'm actually quite proud of myself for keeping that for 25 years and not having lost anything out of it. Now, I'm sure whatever the extra pieces that came with it were, those are probably long mixed into other stuff. But the main set itself, I don't think anything is missing from it that matters. Like I said, you know, there's, you know, the little extra bits. What are we looking at here? So this also does have the 25 years of Lego. It's also 25th anniversary of Episode 1 this year. And DisneyStore.com has like some pins and stuff to celebrate that. But this is predominantly for 25 years of Lego Star Wars. Yeah, we have the exclusive Saw Gerrera figure in here. Some sets, they did this a number of years back when I think was the anniversary for Empire and Jedi, where they had like recreations of the original, well, some of the original yellow-faced Lego figures came back out. I have a couple of those. Here's our booklet. It's actually got a spine on it. It's thicker than I thought it would be for just like 600 and something pieces. That's it. Looks like we're dealing with 7 bags here. I think I think I saw. I was excited. I didn't want to say counted because I didn't count them. So yeah, there's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and this itty bitty little bag here is bag number 1. That's a very tiny bag for bag 1. Looks like we're just going to be a Darth Maul and his little hover bike. So how many steps are we looking at here? Any words in here? I'm probably not going to read them, but just since it is just join lego.com/sw-25 to join the fun. Nope, no words. How many steps are we looking at here? 159. Nope, that's just where bag 7 starts. 81. And 184 steps. Oh, look, you can actually deploy the little Sith Infiltrator droids. That's kind of cool. All right. This should be, I think, a reasonably fun build. It's only going to look a lot better, I think, than this. I mean, if nothing else, over the last 25 years, LEGO Star Wars builds have gotten a lot less Minecrafty. This is hardly the worst Defender. I think the worst Defender I have is probably the Slave one. That original Slave one just looks like absolute junk compared to even to the Episode 2 version that came out just a couple years later. The original one just looks absolutely horrible. This, I think, doesn't look too bad, honestly. The angles may not be quite right. The choice of adding in blue is interesting. I don't think it bothered me at the time because I didn't have anything to compare it to. And also, still the idea of there being LEGO Star Wars was just still a fantastic novelty back in 1999 and 2000. It is, of course, just an accepted fact of life now. It's been literally over a generation that we've had these. So, yeah, I think what we need to do now is get this built and then compare 25 years ago to 25th anniversary. So, yeah, let's get into the fast forward. There we go. Lego Kit 75383. The Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator, part of the 25 years of Lego Star Wars collection, is complete. Now let's take a look at it on its own first. Look at it on its own merits. So we do get 4 minifigures in this set. We get a Darth Maul, who I just also don't think I've had a Darth Maul in a long time. He is a very spiky-headed fellow. Came with an extra set of head spikes as well. Find someone to use it on. Might be good for like a Halloween character or something. He has no cloak. He has no hood. So I mean, I think it's less like we see him initially in the movie and just more like we see him later. We have Qui-Gon Jinn, which I do think is the first Qui-Gon I have that doesn't have the classic yellow face. I don't think I have any Qui-Gons that have been made in the meantime. Seeing as they have remade the Sith Infiltrator and it has come with other figures, there are other flesh-colored Qui-Gons out there, but I don't think I have any of them. We have our little Anakin Skywalker. This is as if young Anakin weren't dislikable enough, he does have the no good, very bad, should not be made, non-posable children's legs. However, he has a good, the hair on him, actually, the hair is quite nice. We do have 2 faces, kind of a shocked face and a happy face. I'm kind of surprised they don't remake, because they made a pod racer diorama, which honestly, I like the minifigure scale stuff, so that one didn't really do anything for me. And indeed, seeing it in person on display in the Lego store did nothing to change my mind on that. Here's Qui-Gon's other face as well. Now, of course, Qui-Gon Jinn does have a very particular set of skills gained through many years as a Jedi. He's got his lightsaber. I really like, honestly, I like the really vibrant, like the colors in this look different. They all look, I don't know, they look like they just look different to me, to my eyes. Like a little both dimmer and more vivid. It's really weird, but I really like it. Maybe not as much as ones that, like, you know, are blacklight reactive, but still. Something about the colors in this I really do like. And then, of course, we have our Saw Gerrera figure, not part of Episode 1, obviously. We don't meet him until the Clone Wars. Although I suppose technically we do meet him initially in Rogue One first, and then they kind of retro him back into Clone Wars. But that's when we meet him. And I say, when I first put him together, also 2 faces, let's get some better light on him. There we go. Angry face, less angry face. Now, when I first put it together, though, when I first put the hair on, I thought, did they just reuse the head from the Mr. T Lego Dimensions figure? But no, I went and looked at a picture at of the Mr. T figure, and the printing is different. But I suppose one could be excused for thinking that this would be a good head for Mr. T if you wanted to make a newer one of him. Since Lego Dimensions is long dead, and it looks like we're probably never going to actually get a A-Team Lego set. Although, you know, you make me a Lego A-Team van and I will definitely buy it. And then being one of the 25th anniversary sets, it does come with the 25 years of Lego Star Wars plate. Which you can use either as like a stand for him, or I guess you could put it on this way, or just, you know, stick it onto something to show, you know, you're celebrating 25 years of Lego Star Wars. They, of course, released similar pieces for the anniversaries of Empire and Jedi. Not for New Hope, at least not as far as I remember. Which is, I suppose, kind of disappointing. But we will have, 50 years coming up in just another 3 years here. Star Wars is going to turn 50. So we'll probably get some really cool stuff at that point. Now, the ship itself is, of course, much more detailed than its classic counterpart, but a lot of things are still the same. We still have a similar way of loading into the ship, although maybe not, it doesn't close up as nicely. It seems like it would be nicer if this maybe turned in more, but it doesn't. Or if it's just, there weren't big gaps here, because that's not airtight. That's not gonna do you in space, but it does open up, sort of reminiscent of the classic one, right down to the little hover bike seating in there. Of course, the inside's a little bit more decorated than it was 25 years ago. We do at least have like a control panel in there. And the bike's a little more, I don't know, impressive. And then we have some clips inside there. I'm going to assume this is where you can put his lightsaber for storage when you have him inside the ship. I do like this. I like that it opens up like this. It's not necessary, I don't think. I think you could slide him out. I guess it's necessary because, well, no. Yeah, that doesn't fasten down onto them. Yeah, I don't think you don't really need that for either play or for getting things in and out, but it still looks kind of cool. I like it. I'm like inclined to like it, but it doesn't actually serve any real purpose. Now, being a more modern set, we do have action features that the original did not have. So front here, much like the original, we do have a place to store our little infiltrator droids. But unlike the old one, these actually do deploy. There is a little door on the bottom, and yeah, right here, we're going to pull on that, and all the droids should drop out. Yep. So that's kind of cool. Also, of course, it has blasters, and I couldn't figure out when I was trying to put them in why it wouldn't work, why they wouldn't go in, and it's because I was pushing the buttons. These are actually the triggers right here. So I push this, it goes flying out, and if you're lucky, doesn't get lost forever. There's an extra one in the package just in case, so no fears there. We have to be careful where you hold it on the front here, because if you press those, it's going to fire off. We have retractable landing gear, and these actually do open up more for flight mode, because otherwise they do actually interfere with landing it if you don't fold them in. But it looks pretty nice. I love the use of the colors. I love the green shine. I hadn't noticed that when I was building it. The green shines through for the engines there. And of course, inside, don't know if we can see any here. Yeah, we got some, we can't see it. We have some very vivid colors now, some pinks and greens. Of course, all the rumors about why you have pink in Star Wars sets, and it's so the designers can get cake. I have to feel at this point that's probably not a thing anymore. They probably just keep on doing it because it's funny, or it amuses them. Even if it's not necessarily funny, but it amuses them. Load our droids back in there for future deployment. But it's a nice build, a fun build, a lot of detail, a lot of small little fiddly bits, which again is much, it's a common thing in your more modern Lego Star Wars sets compared to the old ones. This, literally have like a third the number of pieces. It's actually held together very well over the years. It doesn't have pieces that fall. I don't remember if there was a lot to put back together on it when I put it back together back in 2020, or if it had actually survived storage. But of course, you can see here, we have these don't shift at all. They actually pop off. I'm not going to pop them off because I don't know if anything will break. We have no retractable landing gear. We have no real attempt at detail work at all. I mean, look at the bottoms here. Look at how much stuff there is in the bottom of this one. You can't look at the bottom of this one because my hand's blocking it. There we go. Yeah, look at them compared to it. Although I feel like the new one's actually a little bit smaller, but it's much more detailed. I mean, they made efforts here, but also weird use of roller skates. I don't quite understand why there's a roller skate there, but it does cover the stud. I guess that may be the only real purpose for it. But I think it's a little bit physically smaller than the original, but it certainly looks a lot more detailed, a lot nicer. The printed pieces are a lot more vivid. The colors are more vivid. Darth Maul, actually fairly similar. I mean, a little bit more detailed, but he does not have the cloak and hood. I think largely we have the hood on the old one is because they didn't have. Can we do this? It doesn't totally work. Honestly, that part not really totally working aside, I think I like the printing on the older face better. It looks, I don't know, it looks more evil. It looks, weirdly, the 25-year-old face print looks like more detailed to me than the new one. That's weird. That is not a thing I would have expected. Also, the old one, for having been on a shelf, well, in a box for 20 years, then on a shelf for another 5, is shinier. But I think that's fairly common. The shiny bits in the old Lego stuff is shinier than the shiny bits in the newer Lego stuff. Much more, the lightsaber blades are much clearer. These are more foggy. But again, I feel like that's fairly new. I feel like I've seen these kind of bars much more like this recently, even as much as, the last few years. So I think that's a new thing. I think they've changed something in the way they formulate them. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's something about making them more biodegradable or less hazardous chemicals or something. I don't know. But honestly, I mean, I like the leg printing. I like the printing on the bottom of the new one, but I like the face and I like the lightsaber on that classic one a little bit better. Also, it's just interesting when you look at how different the cloaks are. I mean, this cloak is 25 years old. It still feels fine. It doesn't feel any thicker, but it's a lot rougher. It's a lot less flexible. I mean, I wonder in 25 years what these will be, if I'm still around in 25 years. But in 25 years, like the difference between these cloaks, like what condition they'll be in then, how these are going to age compared to how this will continue to age. But it's I definitely like the ship better, but I like parts of the minifigure on the old one better. And let's look at the little hover scooters. Now the old hover scooter, I remember at the time being impressed with it, but of course now, I'm much more used to this. Although they honestly both look like they could have come out of an advent calendar. But this uses like a lot more pieces that were common back then. These kind of seat pieces, this kind of control front piece. I probably had a few dozen of pieces of this in various colors over the years. The front of boats and vehicles and stuff. And these chairs I think were used a lot in space sets. This is definitely more modern, but this also has the old one, you could lock him in place on it. His legs would actually lock into it. This new one, he's going to have to hold on because there's nothing to fasten him to. How does he look on there? So you want to flip the hands inwards. And they both have the same issue of this being held on by like a single claw. The claws are different now, but they still have a tendency to degrade and fall off. All right, so that's how he looks on his scooter. And of course you could have him do like one blade of saber. And that's how I'll end up storing him. That's how he's going to go back in his ship for long-term storage. But let's put him back on his scooter, which I want to be much more gentle with because I'm afraid of damaging both the scooter and him just because of how old both are. I mean, Lego is fantastic, but it does degrade over time. There we go. All right. So, I mean, you do get that nice kind of cloak draping out behind him, blowing in the wind as he's riding. You don't really get that on the new one. But again, the new one does feel a little bit more detailed. The old one feels very much of its time. The new one feels more detailed, but again, these both feel like things that could have come out of an advent calendar. And, you could have released this as like a really crummy poly bag, maybe with some of the droids separate from the ship. And for $7, I think people would have bought that. I probably would have bought that for $7 just for the figure. But let's see how he's going to store. So let's open this up, plop him into place. So we'll put one saber blade on. I probably should actually do that without him in there. Be easier to do that. One saber blade there. Put the other saber in the hilt on this side. Drop him in. Seal him in. And that is how that is going to probably go up on the shelf. Not sure what I'll do with Qui-Gon and Anakin and Saw here, especially because Saw. He'll probably just go up on a shelf, probably on that little stand. I think it's what I've done. I have a couple of the anniversary figures from, I think, Empire. Do I have any of them handy, though? I do have one, but it's behind things and I don't feel like moving stuff out to get to it. But it was the Princess Leia one for the 20th anniversary a few years back. And actually just say Princess Leia on it. So they made, I guess, they made for that series, they made specific plates for each character. And for this one, I guess we're just going to have like these one kind of plate for all. But honestly, I think for most people, that's probably going to be fine. So yeah, I mean, the new one is definitely a vast improvement overall to the original 25 years ago one. But it's just, again, it's interesting to me when you put them side by side to look at just like this encapsulation of 25 years of Lego Star Wars progress. How we started, where we're going now, and I mean, both are good, but this does feel almost something like a child designed on their own, and this feels like something like a master builder designed and put together. But both are perfectly valid designs, and I do like them both, and I kind of want to find a way to display them next to each other. Just because that's what we've done with the Slave ones, is they're all kind of in one little cubby together. And I kind of want to do that with this too, just because I think that would look good. I mean, definitely the biggest improvement in these sets has to be the droids, because those are absolutely pathetic compared to those newer ones. It's still very simple, and also still something I would expect to find out of perhaps an advent calendar. But definitely these are much more inspired builds than those ones were. But yeah, that is it. That is Kit 75383, ages 9 and up, Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator, compared to the classic just Sith Infiltrator. It was not specified as being Darth Maul's because at the time nobody else had a Sith Infiltrator. And that was Kit 7151 from 1999. The world was a very different place in 1999 than it is today. I'm not going to go all old man and say it was better, but it was better in ways. It was worse in other ways. Probably depends somewhat on who you are and your life situation, which bits are better and which bits are worse. But I'm going to say, for all of us, there are better things and there are worse things. But that's going to wrap this video up. What do you think? How do you think 25 years of progress looks on Star Wars Lego, on the Sith Infiltrator? Which one do you prefer? Do you like that classic one? Do you agree that the old one's face looks better? I do like the face on that minifigure better. That is the one thing I will hands down say the original Kit has over the new one, is I really like the artwork on Darth Maul's face from 25 years ago compared to now. I don't hate now. I like the old one better. But what do you think? Which one do you think is better? Which ship do you think is better? And if you have other versions of the Sith Infiltrator, I know there's been at least 2 or 3 others, not kind of like microfighters and polybags, but actual like minifigure scale ones that have been over the years. I haven't seen the episode 1 stuff come back out, but apparently it has. I mean, I've seen there are kits that have been released. I just don't recall seeing them in the shops. But which one do you think is the best? One of these two? One of the others? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you have a great Revenge of the Sixth. I hope you had a good May the 4th be with you. And I hope you found this video at all interesting or entertaining. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel. And I thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.